to the Spicy Booknook, where we discuss all of our favorite and not so favorite dark and dirty book series. We're your hosts, Aj.
And Tay. So without further ado, let's get into it. Today we will be reviewing The Ritual and the Sinner by Shantel Tessier. Please be aware that there will be spoilers and explicit content for mature audiences only. The triggers for this episode include, but are not limited to, graphic violence, non-dub con, branding, forced sex fantasy, drug and alcohol use, mask, breath play, bondage, kidnapping, and anal. Also, BDSM, no safe word given or used, murder, sexual asphyxiation or breath play, suicide, drugs, non-con, dub-con, consensual, non-consent, forced body modifications, mask, sex toys, water bondage, anal, again, self-bondage, knife play, gunplay, blood play, age play, role play, grooming, child abuse, fear play, degradation, humiliation, forced orgasms, rape, and somnophilia.
God damn.
Jeez.
That's a
Okay.
lot. That's a lot of fucking triggers.
Like she said, but not limited to, because there's also like stalking and
Oh, God. That
some
was just
other
a
stuff,
lot.
So this is a lot, but it's not as crazy as it sounds. It is crazy, don't get me wrong, but it's not. This
Yeah.
is this is not, like Chantel wrote in her author's note, that nothing about this is to be taken seriously. It is strictly a work of fiction and for your smut pleasure. So just keep that in mind while we go through this
I love
crazy
that for us.
book.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay. So, how'd you like The Ritual?
The Ritual was really good. Like, I would say I love that when you start the book, like right off the bat, some shit's going down. Like that, I feel like that made me literally want to read it, because it was just like, as soon as you open the book, first things first, like there's already shit happening. So that made me like, okay, this will be easy. Like The Ritual, I read it really fast.
Mm-hmm.
It was a good one.
Um, and what did you rate The Ritual?
I rate The Ritual a 5.
Okay.
5. 5,
Same.
5, 5. Because Riot,
My man, my man, my
my man, my
man.
man, my man. If I read the book and right off the bat I'm like, my man, my man, my man, that's how you know, like, it's a 5.
It's a
That's how you know. That's how you know. Like, so Riot, yeah, I was like, this one's definitely a 5. That's my man.
same. I love me some Riot. Okay, so now The Sinner. What your initial thoughts about that? Did you have the same? I'm ready to dive into it with The Sinner.
I initially did, after reading The Ritual, because I was like, oh, this is gonna be like, I'm gonna be just as into it. I The Sinner was good. I would say I'd rate it maybe like a 4.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I fucked up by listening to the audiobook. And the guy who was voicing Sin on the audiobook really turned me off. And it was so hard for me to like get into it, just because the audiobook, man, like his voice really just fucked it up. Like, he just sounded so corny. I could not picture that being Sin. And so it's hard to feel like, oh, this my man, my man, my man, with this corny ass fucking voice voicing him. Like, so I think maybe if I would have read the book,
Mm-hmm.
but we got a lot of books to read on here, guys. So, I was like, I'm just gonna have to listen to this one. I don't have time to read this one.
Right.
We got a lot of books to read. So I'm like, I don't have time to read this one. So I listened to it, and I think I probably would have had a different experience if I would have read it instead. Because I don't know, the audiobook guy,
He
I
wasn't
just was,
given.
he was not, it was not given Sin to me. At like I honestly, I'm like, I would rather have the guy who voiced Haunting Adeline instead of this guy. Like, and
No.
we know I did not, and we know I was not a fan of Zayd's whoever voiced him, I was not a fan. But like, geez, I would rather take him back over the guy that voiced Sid. Like,
That's
seriously,
saying a lot. That's
that's saying
saying
a lot.
a real lot. But I agree. I did half and half kind of with the book and audiobook just because, like we said, we got a lot of books that we're reading and episodes to record, so time is a crunch. So doing half and half, it kind of gave me, let me not lie, it didn't give me a different opinion on Sin because I have my opinions on that man. I rated the book, I want to say I rated it a 4.5 because I really enjoyed the story. I was invested. Like, I did not want to stop reading, but I wasn't. Sin's not my man, my man, my man. And
Mm-mm.
going from the ritual to the sinner, it was a big change for me because I fell in love with the ritual. The first time I read it, I was like, that's my man. And then so going on to Sin, I think the sinner, I had a lot of expectations for what I wanted Sin to be.
It
And
got dark. It got real dark.
honestly, I didn't mind the darkness. It was dark.
It
It
got
was
dark.
dark, but it was the darkness that I wanted when we listened way back to, not way back, it's only a couple episodes ago, but when we listened to or read Haunting Adeline and talked about it, I had said that like it was dark, but there was no like romance or like love that really like captured me. And I feel like the sinner gave that to me, but we got to talk about Sin, but we could start with the ritual.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought the ritual was just like really good. Like as soon as I started it, I was hooked. I was like, I have to finish this book. Like I read the ritual so fast. I just loved Riot's character. I'm a fan of like, the grumpy who like doesn't like her at first, is annoyed that he has to do this, and then just like happens to fall in love with her.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Like that's all me. I'm like, yes, I want him to like not realize that he likes her so much and then realize that he does and then is like obsessive and it's just like, okay, like now you belong to me now and now you're stuck here.
Right.
That I was like, I love that.
Because Riot started off like pretty much, he was pretty much just about being a lord. Like he was, I mean,
Yeah.
I think every lord is pretty much excited for their senior year because all the way up until their senior year, they have to remain abstinent. And so, like, when senior year comes around, they're like, ooh, we get some pussy. And so we ready for that. But I feel like Riot was really like, he was a manly man. So he was like, I'm here to kill and do my job and be a lord. And so when he kind of got the assignment to find his chosen, he was like, I guess I'm a getter, because that's my duty. But I don't, I could care less. And so I really like the way he went about it. He was a little bully though. He was very much a
He
bully.
was definitely a bully. Like,
Cause he set her up the first time they met. He like set it up so like she ran into him and dropped off her books, and then he just
hmm
stared at her and was like, "Pick your own shit up, girl."
like she was a dumbass. Yeah, he was definitely a bully. But I would say this book, I hated Matt's character like to my core.
Absolutely.
I was like, please, if Blakely and Riot don't end up together, like I'm going to fucking scream. Because they just made Matt like just such a vile character that
He
I was
started
just
off.
like,
He started off in the first chapter, right when they went on that assignment, and like
yes,
that
was
bastard was like,
already trying to rape somebody. Like, damn.
oh, like off rip, like you already
Off rip.
completed your job, and now you're trying to rape a woman. Like get your shit together, sir.
Yeah, definitely I was not fucking with that. And I definitely, from the beginning, though, I was curious about how Blakely and Matt's relationship was because he definitely was sketch as hell. And I was like, that's weird that they introduced him as like a rapist, but with her, he literally hadn't really tried to do anything with her. And it was more like her that was like the sexual one. That like had me kind of intrigued because I'm like, something ain't right here. Because if you're clearly you trying to rape women, but then with her, like you act like you're like scared to even touch her. I'm like, what? What is the vibe here?
Right. Like he was very much pussy, I guess, when he came to her. Like he didn't even try to satisfy any of her needs. And in fact, he judged her for him because Blakely had a fantasy that she wanted to be, you know, overpowered, I guess, by a man and, you know, lose control and still have a very satisfying sexual fantasy. But
Yeah, she had a little rape fantasy going on.
yeah,
And but okay, if you're her man, why are you gonna judge her for that? Because clearly the fantasy is gonna be with you. So she's not saying I want some random person to rape me. Like that's not what she's saying. So I
right.
was like, nah, you really he
She
was
even like was like, I don't even wish that on anybody. That's something like she felt
yeah.
very disgusting even having those thoughts. Like I should not want anybody to have forced sex with me or rape me or anything of the sorts. I don't condone it, but something inside of me says I want to have this kind of fantasy. And it was more so she explained it as she likes to lose control. Like she doesn't like to have to make decisions for herself in the bedroom. And shoot, as a powerful woman, I get it. Like you gotta, you know, lose control sometimes and let your man take charge. And Matt couldn't do it, but my man, Riot, okay, he completed
He
the
was
job.
he was more than willing, more than willing. And I'm like, I love that. I love that for her.
He did it in
because
such a great way. Like I think
because not only he wasn't even like let's just role play, like he's like I'm gonna make this realistic for you, okay, like
yeah.
I'm gonna full on kidnap you and we gonna really role play it out, and you know it's me, so you know you're safe, but we gonna really role play it out. Like he didn't judge her or none of that. I was like, see, and that's why he's my man, my man, my man,
The non-judgment of it,
because that's the energy. What did you think of the storyline of the ritual?
I really liked it. I felt like I think it was well written. I think that Chantel really, one, she grasped my attention really well because like I said, I was intrigued because it had a lot of different components, but they still all tied together. I love how, one, I like how, you know, the characters in the first book do link with the second book. So, like, we know that we're going
Mhm.
to learn about Tyson and we know that we're going to learn, I don't think we knew that we were going to learn more about Lincoln, but we kind of got, you know, a little bit of who he was. And so knowing that she just, the story all ties together, and I think she did a really good job on making sure that there wasn't any loose ends.
And I agree. I just think the ritual, I just had anxiety because I was like, if Blakely has to end up with Matt, like I just like
The way her
it
mama
just
was acting, I thought she was going to have
yes.
to. I really
Like,
did.
and then obviously, Riot was also supposed to marry somebody else.
Fuck that bitch.
And
Matter of fact.
so yeah, and so I was like the whole time I was like, if she has to end up with Matt, and he told her on multiple occasions, like, if you marry me, you're not gonna like, what happens to you, and I'm
He
gonna
was
make
so
sure.
devilish, girl.
And he was like letting her know, like, you are gonna be tortured, like you're gonna wish that you were dead. And I'm like, oh my god, please don't let her end up with this man.
Like, imagine
Like,
your future husband telling you, like, we get married, you gonna wish you was dead because I'm gonna ruin your days every day.
like just terrible.
He wasn't
Just
shit.
he wasn't. And then it was just like he had another, girlfriend, his chosen or whatever. And I'm like, just go on about your business with your chosen. Leave her alone. Just let her. He just like could not stand the fact of losing her to Riot. Like that just
But you know
he's
what? Riot had a goal. His whole goal, and like even Blakely knew it because she kept saying like he's only with me because he has a point to prove to Matt. And it was true. Like Riot was like, I'm only in this, like I'm only fucking with Blakely because I know it pisses off Matt. And like Matt was just doing shit to get under Riot's skin, like when they had that assignment and he like volunteered them to like
mm-hmm.
do it. And Riot was like quiet about it. He was like, I don't want to like make everybody feel like we just aren't fucking with each other, even though I don't fuck with him. But like Riot, he really had it out for Matt. And I mean, fuck Matt, so I get it, but he definitely had it out for him.
Definitely. I just, ugh, Matt literally just made my fucking skin crawl. Like, so, like, when Riot and Blakely were married, I was like, yes, like, I was finally like, okay, like, she's not gonna marry Matt because she got a man, she got a husband, she married.
Girl, that was after she ran off, huh?
Yeah, so when no, remember they got married, they were married, and then she ran off afterwards because then remember Matt had told her in
Mm-hmm.
the room, he like busted in the room.
That was on the wedding day, huh?
And yes, remember they were all happy. She had her beautiful little gown on and was all happy and good spirit. And then Matt just was like, let me just fuck up your day and let you know that the only reason he married you was because he offered your dad money, and you're pretty much like, oh yeah, your family just trying to sell you to the highest bidder type shit.
But wasn't yours too?
Just
Okay.
like just trying to fuck up her day, you know, like, and then she ran away, and I was so annoyed because that part pissed me off because I'm like, girl, you know, this man has no good intentions at all. So
No,
like
why
to
would you
me,
believe him?
obviously, like what wouldn't you automatically know? Like, let me go talk to my man and see what he has to say about this before I just run off because clearly you the damn devil and you gonna try to fuck up my day no matter what. So let me go talk to my man to make sure that this is true before I just cause a scene and run the fuck off and almost get my dumb ass killed.
You know what? That part, because I was like, girl, you got a man who he gonna find you because little
And
did
he
you
told
know,
her like,
he said, you
I'm
run, I will find you.
I will find you. He already had told her that like no matter where you go, there's nowhere you can go to escape me. And she tried it anyway.
I don't know what it is. I'm not a runner. Like I'm not a runner, but I will run for one of these men. Tell me. Tell me I won't.
And that was the thing, right? It's like you want me to chase you, I'm gonna do it. But just know once I catch you, your ass about to be tied the fuck up somewhere. He's like, you really tested me, you about to be tied the fuck up.
Let me find Riot and run away from him. Find me.
And I will say the sex scenes in this book were very spicy. Very, very, very spicy. I was very content with the sex scenes in this book. They weren't like cringy in any kind of way. I would say her writing was like really great, really descriptive. Like, sometimes, I don't know, sometimes when people be describing sex scenes, they just be like a little cringe.
Very cringe.
But her sex scenes like were very, very good.
I
And
felt
that was
them, girl.
yes, and that was the thing. Like, I need to feel like I want Riot to tie me up. That's what I expect from the book. I expect to feel that. And that's why this book was a 5, because I got all the feels from this book.
All the feels. And
All the
the
feels.
story was really good because there were twists like with her mom
Oh
and
yeah.
like and shoot, even Matt and his little heifers that he had running around. Like there was some really good twist in there.
There were that just came out of like fucking nowhere.
Which was good. I feel like one thing that I noticed with Chantel is in even in the center, by the end of the book, it was twist, 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 twist,
Oh
twist,
my god,
and it
that
was
yeah.
I was stressed. I was literally sweating bullets, like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? And so, like, it was really good to know that I wasn't just reading like a normal bland story. Like, it was nice to be like, oh my god, oh my
No, it
god,
was yeah, like the ritual was good. I don't want to give too much away because I really want people to read
yeah,
it, because I'm like, I don't want to give away, the twist, but it was so good.
yeah.
And
I'm
then
like,
like moving on to the center, that one was I would have rated a 4. Like I thought it was good. I just wasn't like really I Sin wasn't my man. Like that wasn't
I
he just wasn't
agree.
my man. He
Oh,
wasn't.
okay, so I'm going to start with some of my thoughts about Sin because I have many. And my first one is some of the shit that he was doing. was very rapey to me. I feel like he very much so. I don't care if Ellie liked them later on when she found out. I feel like there was a lot of drugging, and I will say that about the ritual too. There was a lot of drugging. Like
There
y'all
was
be
a lot of
drugging the hell out of these girls. Are they like conscious? Are they okay mentally? Because
they be drugging the
they
fuck
be
out of them.
drugging the fuck out of these girls. But Sid, he was. I feel like he didn't get as much consent as he should have. There, I feel like
No,
his consent was lacking, and
it was lacking because okay, in the one scene where Ellie is tied up in somebody else's basement and Sin comes in and fucks her, but she's thinking it was the other dude, like, come the fuck on.
yeah,
Come on. Like, and even though, I'm just like, I know that these books are just kind of dark and they're into like darker stuff. But I'm like, sir, you can't just be walking in and just fucking people and they don't know that you're fucking them.
the
Like,
fact that she didn't know it was him. Like if he
yeah,
would have been like, it's me, and I get he was like, this is our first time, like we, you know, whatever. But like if it's y'all first time, you want her to know, don't you? Like you don't want her just laying there thinking she fucking somebody else.
I did think that I did like the beginning of how like he pretty much had been getting her off as this masked man and that she had like no clue who he was. So I like that. I was like, okay, not you just letting this masked man come into your room and do whatever to you, even though
Okay,
they had never like officially had sex. But I was like, okay. And then I liked when when he actually was like, okay, like I actually want to reveal myself to her, and he was kind of getting a little jealous because
yeah,
she was texting masked him instead of like the real him, and so he kind of had an attitude like, why the fuck she don't want to hang out with real me? Like she just wants this masked man to come
he
into the
was
room
salty about that
and
shit
get her
for
off.
real.
Like I thought that was so funny because I'm like, sir, they're both you. Okay, they're
Right.
both you. But it was just so funny that he was like jealous of himself. Like
He was like, she had said something like, and he fucks me better, and he was like, oh yeah, oh that right,
and
okay.
I thought that was so funny because he really was like in his head about it. Like, why the fuck does she want masked me to come over, but she's not asking for real me? Like, and in one of the scenes, he's like, she texts masked me, but I haven't heard from her at all. Like, sir,
Yeah,
they're both you.
they're
But
both you. Like, just come out and say who the hell you are. Um, Also, I want to rewind back to Haunting Adeline because we had a gun scene in there, and I have my thoughts about that one. And I have the same thoughts about the gun scene in this book. I'm like, why are y'all playing with guns? Again, I'm not judging anybody. I feel like that's your preference. If that's what you like, I ain't gonna judge you. But please, we should probably keep that in the books because that sounds dangerous as hell.
and when they started off and they're like, and he kills her dad or whatever at the time, and then he like is like telling her like I'm about to fuck you with the same gun I just killed him with. I was like, okay.
Bitch,
I was like, we into it. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
this the book, okay?
This the book. That's
Rub my
when I
hands
read that
together.
scene. I was like, okay, this we're doing this. We're doing this. Here we go.
Yeah. And I one thing about these girls is they are curious. They're like, oh, there's a secret party where I might be fucked in front of everybody. Let me go. And I mean, it is true that I don't think Ellie even went to a party because Sin was like, I'm not doing all that shit. He was like, I'm a fucker in front of my homies. And and
Like
he said that's
he's
my own ritual.
he's like, I'm gonna do yeah. And that's the thing, like their like initiation where they have to literally like be fucked in front of all the lords is crazy to me
I
because
would do it. I mean,
just
I didn't say
like
that, but I would.
me personally, like if I was Riot or Sin or whoever, like I don't want y'all to see my
Well, Riot
girl.
was like that. Riot was like, I
Yeah.
think both of them were really like, I don't want them to see my girl. Like, they were very much
Well,
like, I will kill
Riot, I
you if
mean
you touch her.
Blakely just gave him head pretty much, and that was just like he's like that was good enough for everybody
Uh
to
huh.
see. But I was like, that is crazy that they're like, okay, you're my chosen, and so now I get to fuck you in front of all of the lords, and they all get to watch. Like,
And like one thing, I don't know what it is when they be like, I wrap the belt like in her mouth and then like they pull it off and she got like mouth marks like around like belt marks around her mouth. I don't know what it is about that, but I'm trying to see what that'd be like. I don't know why, but that's intriguing to me.
I will say all the bondage and everything from these books, like I
I'm
was
for
like,
it.
sheesh, that's good. I like that.
Had me on Amazon looking
they
at things I
they
had no
had like,
business.
and I'm like, literally, it's like every scene somebody is being tied up, especially Riot. Riot was like, I'm gonna tie Blakely up every chance I get, and I was like, good for you. I
My
love that for
man.
you.
Oh.
That I was like, and that's what the fuck I'm talking about.
Sin was more so like pain. Like
He was more
and
like, I'm gonna hurt you
and
to give you pleasure.
Ellington liked pain, but I feel like it was more of a trauma response more than anything because
Yeah, but I'm like,
Shawty had trauma.
to a certain extent, like, damn, can you just be a little bit gentle? Like, she been through a lot.
She had so much trauma
Like,
in this book.
and
Like, oh my
that's the
god,
thing. This book, I swear, Ellie could not catch a motherfucking break.
not
And
one.
I felt just, ugh, like my heart just literally broke for her because it's like, I felt, I felt like, I'm like, it can't get worse. And every time I said
It
that,
got worse.
something else happened to this girl. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. I'm like, why does the world hate this girl? Like, she just
Ellie was
was
not loved. Okay,
at all. She was just one thing after a fucking another. And I just
like
felt so terrible for her. Like, I'm like, please put this girl in some fucking therapy. But then I'm like, with her luck, the therapist would probably try to fuck her. Like,
oh my
goddamn.
god.
Like, that's literally like,
That's so true though, because like I swear to God, every man that she crossed was like, "I'ma fuck you," and it was like,
and not only that, like, I'm gonna just rape you. It's
and
fine.
that's the thing. It wasn't like I'm gonna fuck you and you're gonna consent to it. It was like I'm gonna do rapey, creepy ass shit. Like the whole pacifier story, like that plot line had me. I wanted to jump in the book and kill that motherfucker so bad. Oh my god,
It's
because
crazy. And I was just so like, I just felt so sad for her because
yes,
I just was like, damn, like she don't get no happy scenes. It's all just like it's
it's
all trauma.
trauma and then Sin's mean ass the whole time because
Mm-hmm.
Sin was mean. I feel like he was really nice to her at times. Like I really appreciated him when he was like telling her no drugs because he really did care about her well-being. Like he didn't want her to be like, you know, not cognitive and just like
But then you gotta, and then, but then in the same breath, and he was telling her like, "Oh, you're just a secret," blah blah blah. Like, so fuck you. I'm gonna do drugs because who the fuck are you to tell me what to do?
yeah, that shit was wild. That was a twist for me because I
That
was like,
scene
what the
really like
fuck? That hurt
that
my feelings.
that scene made me so sad because she was feeling like he was the only person, to like ever truly care for her. And so for him to say that, I was like, oh god. That
Yeah.
like that broke my heart for her because damn, every fucking scene her heart is getting broken. So I'm like, can this bitch catch a break? Please.
No, for real. In the center, one thing I was excited about it because it's a newer book is Carnage. I keep seeing Chantel post about Carnage this, Carnage that, which is I think it's a standalone book. You don't have to read it with these ones, but it is tied into the dark college romances of like the Lord series. But it's I was like, what the hell is Carnage? What the hell is Carnage? I keep seeing people talk about the Spade brothers, and I'm like, I don't know what the hell they're talking about. So
But I'm gonna
reading,
find out. I'll let you know that. I'm
yes,
gonna find the fuck out.
we definitely are gonna have to read the Sacrifice and Carnage, and I think there's another one. I'm not sure. But we're gonna have to read those because we learn about Tyson in the center a little bit more. They keep on mentioning that Tyson like lost his chosen one, but we ain't
I
got no
just
details.
And I
Really?
just need to know because I just know Tyson has big dick energy. Like I know
Definitely.
it. I could feel it. So
It
I
hang, girl. It
so
hang.
I need to know. I gotta read it. I need to know. I need to know Tyson. I'm intrigued.
That's gonna have to be put on um the list for sure.
That's definitely gonna be put on the list. I will say on like normally I go on Pinterest and sometimes the boards kind of match and sometimes they're kind of like eh. But I will say like the ritual Pinterest boards are like
Oh, I fell in love.
like they're like spot on for what I would imagine the characters to look like.
I agree. I
Like
I
I think
really enjoyed that one.
they're like because some of them, you know, you'll look it up and it kind of you're like, that's not what I would imagine. But I feel like these like Pinterest boards are pretty much spot on of what I would think the characters would look like.
I would say the same for the center too. I think they did a good job on Pinterest. But the ritual, they gave me some good ideas.
I just think this was such a. I think that like these two made me very excited to finish because you know
Oh, we know.
sometimes you know the second book doesn't really live up to the first to the point where you're like I don't really feel like finishing this, but I will say like they both were really good to where I'm like I'm definitely gonna keep reading, definitely.
Yeah, I don't want to give too much away to everybody because there's so much in the books that we didn't explain. But there's so much that if we explain it, will spoil too much. I feel like it won't. I don't want to ruin your read. So
But I need you guys to read this book,
yeah,
both of
it's got to be
them.
read. So that means, of course, you recommend it.
I 100% would recommend this, definitely.
Okay, and okay, so I have the fuck Mary kill. I will say because we don't know too much about him. We learned a little bit about him. Let's do fuck Mary kill for Riot, which is my Mary. Um, Sin and Tyson, which
I would, okay. I would marry Riot. I'd fuck Tyson
same.
and kill Sin because I just, and,
I think we're the same on that one because
yeah.
Tyson definitely gives it hangs really low
Big
and
dick energy, I'm telling you. Like, I just know it without even reading the book yet. I just know. I just know. I can feel it.
I got to know. I got to see it.
I
I
can feel
need
it.
to imagine.
I can feel it.
Chantel better not fail me when it comes to Tyson, but I doubt she does because everybody talks about how great these books are. And this was one recommendation that I can say it lived up to all the hype that I've been seeing on it.
Definitely. Definitely. Definitely.
Um, yeah. Do you have a favorite quote? I don't know if I have a favorite quote. I just love everything Riot says.
Literally, literally, like everything Riot was saying, I was just like, I'm like, this is some cultish shit because I'm just like blind following. Like, whatever he said, I'm like, yep, sounds great. Love it. Amazing. So I don't even think I have a favorite quote from this book. I just think literally anything Riot said, I was like, yep,
I ate
we're
it up.
we're going with that.
Um, did you have a favorite spicy scene?
Did I have a favorite spicy scene? Let's see.
Um,
Um, I really don't think I had a favorite. I think they were all like on the same level of spice.
mhm.
So that was like I don't think I really had a favorite spicy scene.
I I would say I don't know. I think when Riot came back into town and surprised her ass, ooh,
Mm-hmm.
that was I think it was just because I was like it was he knew what he was doing. He knew what he was doing. He had a plan and he was a man with a plan and I love a man with a plan. Follow through. Do what you say you was going to do and do it well. And he did just that. He definitely did.
He was very much like he gave just like no bullshit type energy. Like he was completely just like don't fuck around with me. Like and that was the vibe that I enjoyed from him. Like his vibe was definitely not even just for like her, like just in general his vibe was just like don't fuck around. Like I'm
Of-
not the and I
and
love
he was not afraid of anything. He like my man's went to jail. He was murdering and he was only in college, you know?
Yeah.
And I mean, okay, I did have a question for you. Would you go to the cathedral for the ritual if you were invited by shit? It don't matter. Your choice.
um, Real person me would say
Hell no.
no. Fictional book person would be like, of course, why not? Let me out.
Yeah, I agree. In a book, if I was like, if I could trade, I just seen a post on TikTok that was like, if you could trade spaces with the last book that you read, and the ritual wasn't the last book that I read, but I wish it was because hell yeah.
I would definitely trade places with Blakely. Definitely not Ellie, because damn, that bitch got just run through the mud. So no, not her, but not her. She went through a lot, but
Poor Ellie. I really
poor
feel
Ellie,
for her.
that
I don't
bitch,
mean to laugh because she went through a lot and she deserves some love.
she really, and that was the thing. I just wanted her to just be just loved on, and man, we just got a lot of trauma.
Yeah. But overall, I do think I will give The Sinner a 4.5 because there's only a few things that I would change, and that's really the rapiness and the drugging of Ellie because it was just so much. I swear to God, I would have been turned and never the same person again as many times as they were drugged.
Mm-hmm. I agree. But overall, I think this was, both of them were really good reads. So I definitely would recommend.
Absolutely.
Definitely. If you have not read them, I would recommend reading them. Let's
Yeah.
see. Yeah. Overall, I think they were good books. So tune in next week where we will be reading Hooked, or we'll be reviewing Hooked.
Yes, we will be reviewing Hooked on the next episode, and we will also have a special guest.
Woo-hoo!
So it will be our first special, our first special guest on the show.
So tune in and let us know your thoughts.
Yes, thank you for listening. Bye.
Bye.
And it goes a little